Okay, hello, welcome back. Third week, yes, 3. One of my favorite television shows is Doctor Who. Spoiler alert. I think it's great. It's been going for 50 years, as I'm sure some of you know, and it's a very different show. It's a very interesting show. It's sci-fi and there's a lot of aliens and it's very improbable, but I think it's a really great show. And it's sort of summed up in this quote from the main producer, Stephen Moffat. He says, "When they made this particular hero, they didn't give him a gun. They gave him a screwdriver to fix things. They didn't give him a tank or a warship or an X-Wing fighter. They gave him a call box for which to call from help. And they didn't give him a superpower or pointy ears or a heat ray. They gave him an extra heart. They gave him 2 hearts." And that's the extraordinary thing. There will never come a time when we don't need a hero like the Doctor. So I think that quote really sums up what is incredible about Doctor Who, is because there's this character that keeps on getting regenerated, and they're all different, but they all follow the same sort of moral code. And it's incredibly different than any other show you've watched. Because of this, because he never goes armed, he doesn't like guns. He always tries to figure out some kind of diplomatic, incredible, insane way to get out of problems. And while some shows have elements of that, Doctor Who is one of the few that really encapsulates all of these elements. Peter Capaldi is interesting when he loses his memory. I do love what he says. Run like hell because you always have to. Laugh at everything because it's always funny. Never be cruel and never be cowardly. And if you ever are, always make amends. I think that's a really good saying. It can be applicable to our lives because while run like hell because you always have to isn't necessarily specific in the sense that it is to his life, where it involves quite a lot of running, indeed. But it is the sense of you always need to take action. You can't ever live life passively. You have to be ready to move on to the next thing, get to the next place in your life. Because if you ever sit down and wait for it to just pass you by, you're losing out on so many incredible opportunities. And then laugh at everything because it's always funny. I love that because it's like you can appreciate everything, even the terrible things, and you can make a joke and you can choose joy, which I think is a really important thing, because happy is an emotion and that can change, but joy is a choice, something that we can actively choose to be or not be. I've had days where at school it's been terrible because I had a bit of an altercation with my friends, and so I'll walk home and I'll be really depressed, and it's a weird feeling because you kind of want it, but you also kind of don't. So in those cases, it's hard to sort of choose joy. But it's really important, especially if you're going to take out your depression on other people, which I have a tendency to do. So, yeah, and then the end is more self-explanatory, as comes from the promise that the Doctor stated about his name in the Day of the Doctor. Never cruel or cowardly, never give up, never give in. Which is an incredible promise to have you live your life by, definitely. It's very good because cruel, yes, that's terrible, but cowardly is different. It's something we don't think about maybe as much because it's more, that's someone else's problem. Someone else will fix that. I don't have to concern myself on that front. I can just sit here and it will resolve itself. Once again, it's that passive lifestyle. I like Doctor Who because it really explores all of these really deep themes. I mean, I love the characters and the stories. They're great, and I love the TARDIS, and at least it makes me think. Right? And that's why I think it's been going on for 50 years. Like Stephen Moffat said, there will never come a time when we don't need a hero like the Doctor. And remember to never laugh at live dragons. So, I don't know what to talk about.